Hello, welcome back. Today is Monday, July 3rd, 2023, and this is my Biden versus DeSantis election prediction. First, I'd like to say sit back, relax, like, subscribe, and comment, because this election will be very close, and stay tuned until the end. So, I'd like to preface this by saying I'm first and foremost making this video because DeSantis is in second place to Donald Trump in the Republican nomination field currently. Biden, on the other hand, for the Democrats, is in first place for his nomination. While this is not the most likely election to happen, that being Trump versus Biden, a rematch, this is the second most likely to happen, in my opinion. While this is not the most likely to happen, with the most likely being a Trump versus Biden rematch, I believe that this is the second most likely to happen because DeSantis is in second place for the Republicans and Biden is in first place for the Democrats. So first, as always, I'm going to put down the solid states for both parties. And this time I'm going to start with DeSantis, with him getting Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, and West Virginia, with the other states being considered swing states or close to swing states. However, DeSantis, being the governor of Florida, will easily give him Florida's 30 electoral votes. As for Biden, I'll give him Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii. Oh yeah, also DeSantis will win Alaska. Biden will win New Mexico, Colorado, Minnesota, Illinois, Virginia, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine, and of course Delaware, Maryland, and DC. So now we have 222 votes for the Democrats, led by Biden, and 202 votes for the Republicans, led by DeSantis. So these are the states that are widely considered to be swing states or close to swing states, and we will go through each and every one of them. Okay, for the swing states, I'd like to go from the West Coast to the East Coast, and that means we will start with Nevada. So as you can see in these polls, Trump is actually given an advantage over Biden, and DeSantis is actually given even more of an advantage over Biden than Trump is. However, this poll looks very biased as it gives Trump a +8 advantage and DeSantis +10, and this poll might be biased in the opposite direction, giving Biden +8 over Trump. Therefore, I'm going to ignore these polls and look at the other polls. So Trump's given an advantage here, and DeSantis is generally given more support than Trump is in these polls, so I will give DeSantis the state of Nevada. I'd also like to say, in these swing states, I think DeSantis will perform better than Trump as he is seen as more moderate than Trump. However, that outlook may not be correct, as DeSantis is heavily engaged in the social politics of culture wars, and he is hyperfixating on that rather than economic conservatism. Additionally, DeSantis' announcement for president, as you may know, was extremely poor, as Twitter, which was the platform he was announcing on, pretty much crashed during the announcement. While that may not have an extremely large impact on his election chances, certainly a poor first impression does not look good for his chances. Let's continue. Arizona. In Arizona, which reigns supreme with moderate conservatives such as John McCain, we can see that Trump is given a lower chance than Biden of winning, but DeSantis is given a higher chance than Biden of winning this state. And that's because, as I mentioned previously, some voters may see DeSantis as more moderate. However, I believe that he's not more moderate than Trump because of some of his policies that he's enacting as governor of Florida, but the polls reflect that people do see him as more moderate. And here he's given a +6 over Biden, and down here he's given a +4 over Biden, and generally he's going to win over Biden in the state of Arizona. I'd like to say the state of Arizona has gone Republican extremely often, and it did go to the Democrats during the 2020 election, which is a heavily contested election. So next, let's head on to Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, Biden is given 52% over Trump's 43 and 49 over Trump's 47. I'd like to say in my Trump versus Biden prediction video, I did give Wisconsin to Trump, which was extremely controversial in the comment section, and I do say that that view was probably wrong because Ron Johnson, the incumbent, had the incumbency advantage, which I ignored in my video, meaning that the comments were correct and Wisconsin likely would go to Joe Biden. Additionally, Mandela Barnes was, as I looked further into his policies, not the greatest candidate for the moderate voter, and therefore him compared to Biden is an extreme difference, and that may lead to Biden winning states in the Midwest, and I will be giving Wisconsin to Biden in this cycle. Now let's head over to Michigan. Michigan has a Democrat governor and Democrat senators, and has gone to the Democrats during the 2020 U.S. presidential election. Here, it gives Trump and Biden even chances, whereas it gives DeSantis a 1-point lead over Biden. And down here, DeSantis yet again gets a lead over Biden. However, I think that the polls may be slightly favoring DeSantis over what he will actually be getting. Another thing to note is that Trump and DeSantis will likely run a smear campaign in the primary, which will hinder both of them in the general election. So I believe that these polls are favoring DeSantis a little bit too much and that Biden will win in Michigan. Ohio has become a Republican stronghold, as you can see already clicking Republican. And here, it's pretty self-explanatory. Ohio been going more Republican, voted J.D. Vance for U.S. Senate over Tim Ryan, and Vance was seemingly out of the blue, and DeSantis will almost certainly win in Ohio. Now let's head over to Georgia. Georgia borders the state that DeSantis is the governor of, which is Florida, and they may be somewhat similar in ideology, though not exactly the same, as Georgia has two Democrats serving as senators, but it does have a Republican governor who won easily, Brian Kemp. And I will look more closely at Georgia's polls. One thing to note, the comment section in one of my videos didn't like that I was just looking at 538, but what I like about this platform is that it has polls from a bunch of different sources. It's not just one source, though there are a lot from the Citizen Awareness Project. But if you want me to use a different website to look at polls, let me know in the comments and I will do that. So here for Georgia, DeSantis is given a lead over Biden, whereas Biden is given a lead over Trump. And this is seemingly across the board. DeSantis is beating Biden. I think this because Georgia is similar in geography as Florida. It's in the same region. And I will give Georgia to DeSantis for that reason, though I don't think that Trump will win in Georgia. North Carolina, that's been going Republican for the 2016-2020 elections. It went to Trump, and it will go to DeSantis, as DeSantis is given better odds than Trump across the board in the general election. So I will give North Carolina to DeSantis. So now we have Republicans at 268 votes to Democrats at 247. Republicans need one state to win the entire election. I'd also like to know I put in Maine's 2nd District for the Republicans and Nebraska's 2nd District for the Democrats. So here it rests on one state left for the Republicans in order to win the entire election. First, let's go to New Hampshire. New Hampshire has gone to the Democrats for a long time. It's in New England. And while it may back Chris Sununu, which is its extremely popular governor, Sununu is not going to be running in this 2024 U.S. presidential election. And while DeSantis is narrowing up the margins, it seems like Biden will eke out on top over DeSantis and will win this election in New Hampshire. So now, while the Republicans are ahead 268 to 251, it all depends on who gets Pennsylvania, because you need 270, and Pennsylvania will bring the Democrats to 270 if they will win it. So let's see what happens in Pennsylvania. I see Pennsylvania as a trench warfare campaign, so I don't think the polls will be entirely accurate. I think that whoever puts the most money into Pennsylvania will have better chances. And here it seems like the polls are conflicted on who will win, with this polling center giving it to Biden and Citizens Awareness giving it to Desantis. I think that due to the 2020 election, Pennsylvania going to Joe Biden, I believe that it will go to Joe Biden once more, especially considering the Republican flop in 2022 midterm Senate election between Oz and Fetterman. I view that Pennsylvania will be going to the Democrats for them to go to 270 to Republicans 268. I told you, this can be a close one. This is just a preliminary outlook. It may not be how the election actually turns out, and DeSantis versus Biden will be extremely close, and a lot of money will go into both campaigns. And make sure to like, subscribe, and comment for more election predictions. Thank you for watching.